Hello, everyone. This is your girl Pat from Backwards Braids. We are starting our Backwards Braids Bible study. And today's title is called Charity Case. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 5 says, Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, and doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, and is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. And I know we're going to get into just a little bit of this because charity is a big deal. A lot of people say charity begins at home. I've heard a lot of people say that. And there's a lot more to charity. So when we're talking about charity suffered long, let's look at the word suffer. And when I looked it up, it said pain, distress, or hardship experiencing something bad or unpleasant. So that's a big deal because a lot of people do go through a lot of suffering. Like right now, if you're in that Democratic Party, you are going through a lot of suffering and distress and maybe hardship due to the fact that we are having to deal with things that we're not used to dealing with, And the other thing, I won't get into that too much, but when it talks about envy, it says that it's kind and charity envieth not. Not envieth, but envieth not. And when I looked up envy, it says the painful feeling of wanting what someone else has, such as their possessions, success, or qualities, often mixed with resentment. So, a lot of people out there, those evil ones, they envy you. We have people that envy us all the time. But it says charity envieth not. So, if you are if you are a charity case, you are not that type of person that wants to take someone else's possessions or you resent someone else. In other words, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for everybody else. But I have had people in my life that envieth me. And I couldn't understand why. Like, I'm trying to understand, why does this person that claimed they love me so much envy me? So it really goes back to you becoming a charity case. So that when people say, oh, you're just a charity case. Oh, okay, I'll take it because I am. If you look at it, those are the type of people that feel like that. Those are the type of people that are on the other side of the fence. In other words, they feel like they're better than you, or, those are the ones that want to possess what you have or your success or your qualities. Those are those people. They envy you. But if you're a charity case, you envieth not. Then it says that charity vaunteth not. What does vaunteth mean? I had to look it up. It says to boast, to brag, or show off one's worth or accomplishments. So if you are the type of person, if you are a charity case, you vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, do not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. So you're not that type of person that likes to boast and brag about things. And like I said, I can only speak for myself. And I've had people around me to say, oh, well, I got this and I'm doing that. And they just boast and brag all the time and always want to show things off. But the thing is, they're doing this to, it goes back to envy, it goes back to envying you. They want what you have. They may not have those things, they just bought me a new car. And, some people go as far as worshiping those things, those materialistic things. You worship your car, you worship your house. So therefore you you boast and brag about your house and your car, about their worth, about their accomplishments. And, those people are not considered a charity case. The charity case will be the one that does not boast and brag and show off. You go to an event, you have on a beautiful dress. You're not walking around saying, oh, look at my beautiful dress. You like it? But the other person that is, that does vaunteth, that does boast and brag, they're going to be like, oh, they're going to recognize my dress. That's the mentality that they will have. Oh, they're going to see me in this dress. But in other words, if you are a charity case, you will not do those things. So let's talk about that a little bit, about us being a charity case. A lot of people think because you are a charity case that you are expected to be poor, to be broke, to be lonely, to be all those things that, or all those qualifications that that are not on the high end. But, we got to look at Jesus. Jesus was a charity case. He walked around, he preached the gospel, he talked to people, walked in his sandals and his robe, and he talked about, the goodness of God, making it to heaven and doing the right things and, living right and all of that. And he wasn't in no big old church and, preaching to thousands and thousands of people. He may have, but if he did it, he was in a field or on a hill, on a mountain, with some goats and sheep around him. And, he was a charity case. But now look at him. He died for our sins so that we can live. And now he's sitting on the right hand of God, which is something that we earn for as Christians each and every day. So we're always wanting to be Christ-like. So therefore, we'll take it, being a charity case, that's fine. I'll be a charity case because I know there's something bigger and better on the other side. There's something much bigger and better on the other side. So therefore, when someone approaches you about being a charity case, just keep it moving. You say thank you and just keep it moving. But I'm hoping that you guys got something out of this, and I'm just praying that you all will be blessed and have a great day. Bye-bye.